All right, welcome back again to this week's markets preview. So as usual, we'll run through what basically went down last week, and then we'll look at what to expect for the week. So basically, when we started the week, somewhere here, uh, fractal order flow was still bullish, right? And then mentioned the fact that volume trend was also bullish. So we were basically looking for an opportunity to come off the weekly, this fractal low that is here. We wanted it to be taken out, right, swept, and then push to the upside of the fractal OF. However, when we look at what's happened, I also mentioned around, I think, 4 minutes, 55 seconds or thereabouts, that once we have a fractal high formed above the previous week's high, and that fractal high is taken out, then it's basically, we basically stop looking for further buys for virtually the rest of the week, except if we have a situation where price pushes down all the way to do the whole weekly range. So, and that was basically what happened on, I think this was on Tuesday. So on Tuesday, why is this not coming? All right. So yeah, on Tuesday, price basically went up, right, and took out the highs of Monday, which was a fractal high above um, the previous week's high. So from that time on, we are basically no longer looking for buys on USD. So we are no longer looking for opportunities to sell EU and sell GU. I've mentioned here before that the reason why we do that is usually that this is sort of a weekly reversal model, but its uh, its accuracy is not that high, at least from what I've seen so far. I might learn something in future that changes that, but for now, it's the way I see it, it's the win rate is not that high. So we don't trade it, but when we see it happen, we no longer want to be taking trades because it's likely that that's um, some form of reversal of major correction might be underway. So for the rest of the week, basically, we didn't have a trade. We were expecting at some point, we were expecting one of our reversal models, the FXP. We were expecting one of our reversal models to actually occur. Our B5 model, but waited for it. It really didn't materialize, and then price basically pushed the downside. So on the now on Wednesday, we came close to getting a change in the volume trend, but somehow by the end of the day, the bulls fought back and managed to still keep it above. But on Thursday, the dollar bills came back in full force, and we got a volume trend change on Thursday. So at the close of Thursday, we had a change in the volume trend, right? So at the moment, the volume trend on the USD is bearish, right? Now, also the euro on Wednesday turned bullish. Both the volume trend, the fractal OF on the euro also turned bullish. Also on Thursday, I want to load that chart. No. Also on Thursday, the yield spreads on the USD also turned bearish. So basically, I'm expecting a whole lot of bearishness on the dollar. However, I had a Zoom session with those in the FXP on Saturday. I mentioned the fact that usually anytime we have a change in the volume trend, um, a good majority of the time, it's not always, but a good majority of the time, price still pushes up. So let's say this one is a bearish change, right? Price still somehow pushes up back into this fractal high that was created there, usually wicks into it, and then basically begins to drop. Of course, for those of you who have explored enough, we usually call that liquidity sweeps, right? So that might still happen. All right. So you would see over here when the trend was changed on the 18th, right? When the trend was changed on the 18th, you usually see this slow build up. So while we retail traders can just press at the the press of a button, at the click of a button, you are loading up your orders and all that. When you want to load in billions of dollars, you can't really do that, right? So what usually happens is there is an accumulation period. There's an accumulation period, and then after that accumulation is done, so it basically what is happening is for those who are not aware of what is happening, they'll be trying to sell, and those guys will be buying from them, right? So they'll be trying to sell, they'll be buying from them, they're trying to sell, they are buying from them, they're trying to sell, they are buying from them. So you usually see things like this happen. Then finally, they might even be the ones to induce it. Open large sell orders, push it all the way down. There are people that have pending sell orders here at the bottom that if there's a breakout, we will still want to join the sell and all that. And they basically push down all the way, ignite those orders as well, and then reverse the price and begin to go. The same thing happened during the order flow change here. I think it was June 19 or so. I know it was before the 21st, right? And you could still see this sort of push up before you see this you see price completely reverse, right? So they need to accumulate their orders fully, right? So, but to those who are initiates, they've basically shown the hand that, see, this is what we are doing. So most of the big guys will basically now align with whatsoever. So there are still hierarchies um, within the so-called institutions and big money or smart money. They are still like hierarchy. So once the very biggest of the guys starts moving around things, there are ways that they communicate that, see, something is happening. So for those who are able to see it early and know that, okay, something like this has started happening, then they join to position themselves. And usually after that, we'll then see a complete reversal in the trend. So for now, the volume trend is bearish. Fractal OF is bullish, is still bullish, right? They've come close severally to break it. This failed, this failed, this failed. Again, people might see this as a failed breakout. More people will pile into it, into the buy and all that. So, so many things going on. Then, of course, this week is the week of the US elections. I've told those in the FX records to be trading at half risk all through this week because they could just use it to do all manner. I won't be surprised if we just get maybe on Wednesday, the election is basically holding today. So tomorrow, Wednesday, I won't be surprised if we just see, by the time we get into the news calendar, we'll look at things that they could use to create such things. Because usually they will use news events, right, to masquerade what they are doing. So people will now say, oh, it's because of this, it's because of that, it's because of this, it's because of that. But they're basically doing what they want to do, right? So we might see price just a flash push. It could even be a gap, right? We can just see a high push to the upside, right? To wick into this and then drop. And of course, this could still be one of those few times when they don't go to do that and they just basically consolidate in between this place and then come down, right? But the main thing is that the volume trend is bearish. All right. Now the fractal order flow is still bullish. Swing short for now is also still bullish, right? So we want to, that is basically what we have at the moment. So let's look at how we would want to play these scenarios. Right. So if we are looking to buy off the fractal OF, the weekly model, right, swing shots, which is bullish because um, previous week's high was taken, and then we had a bullish close, right? So what we'll be waiting for is this fractal. This has formed a fractal low, right? This has formed a fractal low. So we want price to push down all the way here to come take out this fractal low, and then we'll be looking for opportunities to go to the upside of the weekly models. Now, of our volume trend. Now, with regards to our volume trend, there are so many things we can do. I'll just talk about just the normal week, one of the things we do with the volume trend. There are so many other things we do that I can't really go into. It's reserved for the FXP. But again, one of the things you could do is wait for this to create a fractal high, right? This candle has already formed the high of the week on the USD basket, right? And then I start dropping. So would this be a fractal high? We don't know for now, right? So basically we'll be waiting for a fractal high to form. And when that fractal high forms, then taking out, they'll want to see it reverse to the downside. So that's basically for the weekly models. If we look at the intraday models, so let's start from the daily. So you will see that EU, right, has broken to the upside on the daily, right? So daily fractal OF on EU is now bullish. However, if we go to H4, right, we can see that this was the last fractal that was actually broken. It was broken to the downside, right? So H4 is bearish, D1 is bullish. So we don't really have an intraday model in play, right? So for us to get an intraday model, the H4 must also turn bullish, right? So for now, the only way for it to turn bullish is for it to come take out this fractal high right here, right? Now, also, all right, basically for it to come take out this fractal high, I'll get back to what I want to say in a short while. All right, so if it comes to break above this, right, it breaks above this, what we'll basically have is a situation where price has created a fractal high above last week's high. Once it is taken out, right, we are no longer looking for buys. We are no longer looking for buys. And personally, I'm not too, I don't mind it too much given this week that we are in, if we actually don't get the trade. But we'll see what happens. So let's go to the USD basket as well. So you see there's a fractal low that has been formed below previous week's low, right? So if price takes out this fractal low, right, then we'll not be looking for opportunities to sell the USD, right? We'll not be looking for opportunities to sell the USD. All right, so that is basically what we are looking at for the week. So it's a kind of a mixed week. But again, US elections, you have to be super careful what is whatever you are doing in the markets. Everything, like every asset class, it doesn't matter what it is. Even if it is not dollar related, it doesn't matter what it is. Crazy things are bound to happen between Tuesday night to like Thursday morning. Crazy things are bound to happen. So you want to be super careful about that. All right, so let's look at the economic calendar for the week. All right, so today is Tuesday. Red folders that we have today, there is unemployment reports coming out from Spain. Then the global services PMI from UK, right? And of course, the USD presidential elections is today. Then PMIs as well from the US, the US. So that's basically what we are going to be looking out for. For me, I think today the key market drivers that we could expect is the services PMI from UK, because UK is largely a service economy. So people are going to be keeping an eye on that services PMI. Then we have the PMIs. All the PMIs are coming out, services and composites, right? But the key one for me is going to be the ISM services PMI that is coming out by 4 p.m. my time. So that is the key one to look out for. Now on Wednesday, we have PMIs coming out from Spain, Italy, France, Germany. So basically the Eurozone. We're going to be having PMIs coming out from the Eurozone, and that's basically all we have on Wednesday. And then on Thursday, balance of trade from Germany. I don't know why they put it as a red folder event. I don't really see that as a red folder event. And then on Thursday, the big one, I think, outside the US elections for the week, we are going to have the Bank of England interest rates decision, right? Bank of England interest rates decision. All right. And of course, same day, later in the day, we are going to have the Fed interest rate decision. Personally, those two events might be what creates the spikes I talked about that will happen, right? So we could see them use UK to drive the price up, right? Drive dollar up, and then the Federal Reserve comes in, and then they basically reverse the move, right? Or it could be the opposite way. They use this one to drop it, and then use the interest rate decision to reverse it, right? Or we could just see the interest rates, the major, the rate decision announcement spike the price up, and then by the time we do the press conference, they reverse the whole move. So anything can happen. Now, as regards expectations, I basically believe it's going to be a 25 basis points cut, right? I don't see, even though the last NFP numbers that came in were a bit concerning, but that's basically we are finally seeing the effect of all the hurricanes. I remember I talked about it like 2 weeks ago, the effect of the hurricanes that happened last month. You know, people always forget that the job numbers that are coming out for that came out in November is really a reflection of what happened in October. It's not a reflection of what is happening at the moment. It's a reflection of what happened the previous month, right? So I think the Fed is also going to take that into consideration and not be in a rush to slash by another 50 basis points cut. So we'll see what happens with that. Of course, can it still happen that our volume trend turns bullish? It could still happen. It could still happen. Don't rule out anything in the markets completely. So, but I think between Wednesday and Thursday, the markets are going to resolve themselves one way or the other, right? So that's why I said you really want to be careful, right? And then on Friday, we have retail sales from Italy and the Michigan consumer sentiment as well. So that's basically what to expect from the economic calendar. It's going to be quite an interesting week where the world's direction will be known as to what to expect going into the next year and even the coming years and all that. So stay safe. Stay safe, because some people are going to be hot bad this week. So make sure you're not one of them. All right. So enjoy the rest of your week. All right. Before I go, I almost forgot. So I've released the an EA that I really urge you to check out. It's on the YouTube channel, the Trend Engine. So the Trend Engine, it's basically running on the volume trend. So it's basically trying to ride the trend, right, with whatever the volume trend is saying per time. And the returns over the last 1 year, given the fact that um, it wasn't really the best times for trends per se, when compared to 2020, 2021, even 2022, right? 2023 and 2024 hasn't really been the best times for, because of the fact that interest rates have been relatively stable, right? Interest rates have been relatively stable, right? So it hasn't been the best times for trends, like those long trends and all. But yet, um, using a 0.5% risk per trade, getting about 100% returns over a 1 year period on just EU, that is very, very good returns, in my opinion. Very, very solid returns. So watch the video. I discussed a whole lot of things. And then if you go to the website, I also made some analogies around how you could use the EA to really transform your trading, transform your finances, if you uh, choose to use it. Of course, um, everything has to be used responsibly. So you want to look out for that video. Also, the Black Friday sales I mentioned last week. I'm going to drop the code in the comments. I'm going to drop the code in the comments. So that's basically going to give you 30% off, right? It's going to give you 30% off any products on the website, including the Trend Engine as well. So that is basically that. So enjoy the rest of your week and stay careful.